Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Are you within the sound of my voice? Is it clear? Great, because we had problems with the mic earlier. First, we want to take a few seconds just to welcome everyone and to thank you for coming out for this most historical moment, probably the most historical moment in Crescent City in the past 20 or 30 years. And that is for something very exciting and very excited to be here to present this to you. So thanks again for coming and welcome. And we'll move on with our program. And as usual, we start out with our invocation, which is prayer with our Pastor Banks, who is also one of our commissioners for the past 19 years in this esteemed city. So to have him here to do the invocation, it's a pleasure. So we'd like to welcome Pastor H. Harry Banks up to the mic to do the invocation.
Just say this with me. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Come on, I'm going to say it again. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that within me, bless his name. Father, dear gracious God, we thank you for your loving kindness and your multitude of mercy. God, you have been so gracious to us, so we just want to give you a little thanks. Thanks for this morning, for our life and our health and strength. And we thank you today, God, for this activity. We thank you for these beautiful people that came from all over the state of Florida, commissioners, past commissioners, and all of you that are present today. God, we thank you for life and thank you for waking us up this morning in a right mind. Thank you, Lord. We want to thank you for the sponsors of this occasion. Take a lot of work. And Lord, we thank you for giving them the energy and the strife. And God, we thank you for bringing it to pass. We thank you for the renaming a portion of Old 17. And we want to continuously thank you and lift up your name. Bless your most holy name and give it the glory, the honor, and the praise. It's in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray on this morning. Amen.
This is a moment when we will be pledging our flag. So can you guys all envision our beautiful flag? And we say a pledge to the flag. Can we do that? Right behind you, flying beautifully in the air. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Now we'll be remiss if we didn't do our National Black Anthem, and it's on the back of your program. It's on the back of your program in case you don't know the words. I don't even know them all myself. So those who wish to join us, please do so. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're moving along. Next, we have remarks by our mayor, Michelle Myers.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yeah. I may be small, but I'm mighty with a voice. One of the great honors of being a mayor is to be able to welcome everyone to momentous events such as today. So as I look across the audience today, I thank you all, whether you walked, whether you drove, whether you flew, for taking your precious time to come here today to honor this legend that was born here in our community. And our community welcomes you, and you'll find as you look around, we thank the Lord today for the beautiful day He provided us in order to honor. And I have to say that with all the dignitaries here, that it is such a wonderful feeling. And I know that Asa Philip Randolph is looking down on us today, and he is smiling. And so I thank you all for taking time out of your precious weekend to be here. I also want to share with you another wonderful opportunity as being a mayor I have found, and that is that I get to be out there in the community. And this week, because we're honoring Black History Month, I had the great opportunity of reading a book to second graders. And I read the story of Ruby Bridges. And Ruby Bridges, as most of you know, was the first grader, the first young girl to step out and walk into a white elementary school. She faced mobs of people. She had to be escorted by U.S. Marshals. But Ruby did that, and she was brave, and she endured all that she had to endure in order that all of our children today could sit in a classroom and they could share their rich heritage with one another. And I sat there and I watched those children wondering if they really realized how brave this young girl was. And this little girl, every morning before she walked into school, she said a prayer. And she asked for forgiveness for those people who really didn't know her. And then every afternoon after she left, she said another prayer for those same people. Every day her parents made sure she walked in there and she got her bravery from the Lord. And He gives us all our bravery. But then when I reflected back on that, Asa Philip Randolph, he's the one that gave her that opportunity to be brave and to become a legend because he walked ahead of her. And you have to think back in his time how brave he was and how proud we here in Crescent City should be that this man was born in our community. And so today, actually our community is honoring two legends. This morning we're honoring Asa Philip Randolph. This afternoon we're honoring Pooh Bear. But Asa Philip Randolph opened the door so that Pooh Bear could live his dream. And for that, we are thankful for the legends that have come out of this community. And it makes me very proud. And most importantly, as we look around, we are all God's children. And God sees no color, and neither should any of us. And so, as you go today, be thankful, be blessed, and thank you again for being here today. We greatly appreciate the honor that this is bestowed on our city. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause for our great mayor, Michelle Myers. Such a beautiful time to be the mayor of Crescent City, because right now, for the past 2 or 3 years, our focus has been on unity. We use the word unity very, very lightly, but do we really know what the word unity means? Inclusiveness. Do we really know what that means? That is why we're all gathered here today. It's about including everyone and uniting every race, color, and creed, regardless of whom they are, to be a great part of this great city, Crescent City. And I think Crescent City is on the upward mobility to obtain all of those things that they've been working so very, very hard for over the years, hundreds of years. But it's good to be a part of that now. And again, thank you very much, Mayor Myers. We have our soloist and trumpeter here. He was just here. So we're going to delay him for a moment. And Cynthia, Asia, and I will introduce some of the speakers. After that, we'll follow the program with special remarks from our county commission, chairman of the board of our county commissioners, the great Mr. Bill Pickens.
Good morning. This is a beautiful day today, and it's always good to gather with great people and just to honor such a person as we're honoring today. But today we have invited some special guests, and I'm going to start out with, we've already heard from Pastor Harry Banks. He's we have here, it says he's from Long Station. We have Lisa DeVito, one of our commissioners, Sherry Dupree from UNESCO, and the Honorable Senator Tony Hill. I know I saw him drive up. I didn't actually, okay. It's been a while since I've seen him, but it's always good to see that he's still active. He is very much so. And we have others that will be coming up. We have Reflections, Veronica Glover from the Concerned Citizens of Putnam County. We will also have Commissioner Bill Pickens. We know him very, very well. He's a very active commissioner, county commissioner. Ms. McKinney, who is president of the A. Philip Randolph chapters out of Miami. We have a host of others that may be on the program, but we just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day today. I also see our Honorable Mayor Hill out of Palatka. I call him my mayor as well. I'm in San Mateo, but I say that's God's country. But anytime that I'm called to have a duty, I try to fulfill it. I started my day out with giving food away in Palatka. We have food ministry at Emmanuel United Methodist Church. So my day, this is the second thing that I've done this morning. But anyway, it's always an honor. And Miss Dukes, most of you know her. She's a hard worker, and she's been burning up my phone for the last couple of weeks, making sure that you enjoyed today, because we have a young man that we're going to honor. And I tell you, I love to watch the documentaries and so forth on TV. And he has been on TV, and I don't know how many people know it, but he's been on TV several times over the last couple of weeks. There have been, they're showing his pictures in some of the documentaries, and I don't know how many people really and truly remember that he was the brains behind the March on Washington. Dr. King's did the dream, but A. Philip Randolph was the planner for that process. So let us honor him, and we will move on with the program. Thank you so much for coming out today.
We will now have special remarks by our chairman of the board of the county commissioner, Mr. Bill Pickens.
Thank you, Angel. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'll speak as loud. I have a pretty soft voice. I just want to welcome everybody here as chairman of the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners, and I bring greetings from Commissioner Terry Turner, Commissioner Larry Harvey, Commissioner Paul Adamsack, and Commissioner Jeff Rawls, and our county administrator, Mr. Terry Suggs. It's truly an honor to be here to finally be able to do the unveiling of the signs and the dedication of the Memorial Highway for A. Philip Randolph, one of Putnam County's and Crescent City's native son. And as Ms. A just said, he was a civil rights organizer and leader before Martin Luther King, and they were able to work together for good, for all people. The A. Philip Highway, Memorial Highway, is a portion of Old 17, which will run from Junction Road, which is almost just at the south end of Crescent City. It will run through Long Station, and then also it will connect with Highway 17. So we will have signs at the beginning of Old 17 at Junction Road, and then one coming from the south to the north when you enter on Old 17 just past Long Station. This has been a journey. This actually started when Angel Dukes came to me and said, I would like to meet with you about a road dedication in honor of Philip Randolph. So Angel set up a meeting with John Newbold and myself, and that's how it started. It actually started in 2019, and we're in 2022. It was a slow process because it's not easy just to change the name of a road. So we did research and found out that a Memorial Highway was probably the best way to do this. So we started the process. And I want to thank our Public Works Department for their efforts, our Planning Department and our GIS Department, the Sheriff's Department, the EMS services, because they all have to change the 911 because we're changing to a Memorial Highway. They have to note that, and it has to go before the state. During this process, something called COVID came up, and so that put that on hold for almost a year. So we did one dedication at the County Commission office right before COVID hit. Then we had to go through the COVID process, and hopefully we're out of that. I would say that probably the biggest reason this is happening today is Angel Dukes, and I'll talk about her in just a minute. So last year, I think it was August, we did another dedication. I think it was August of 2021, and we read the proclamation, which I'll read later on, and we had the signs at the Board of County Commission. It was a very nice, well-deserving tribute. I looked up the word persistence in Uncle Webster's book today, and I'm saying that Angel's persistency is why this is finally getting done. She didn't give up on it. I guess we could have pushed it over to the side, but that's not what she wanted. That's not what anybody wanted. But somebody has to lead. Somebody has to lead a project or a program or whatever. So when I looked up the definition of persistence, it has to go on resolutely or stubbornly in spite of difficulties. Now, I'm not going to say that Angel is stubborn. You'll have to ask her husband, Gerald, about that. But her persistence should be noted, she should be thanked, and she should be honored. So let's give her a hand, because this is really why this is happening. In closing, I just want to say I'm truly honored to be a part of this. My commission was 100% in for this, and they felt that it was a really good thing. And I think it's a good thing for A. Philip Randolph's history and for Crescent City. So thank you very much.
We're going to break the program up a little bit and have a soloist, kind of a serenade everyone to get you in the spirit for more to come. Can you hear me now? This mic, and I too speak softly, so I try to speak as loud as possible Can you hear me now, guys? Ladies? Okay. We will now have Mr. Hartley Leacock. Thank you very much. Let's give Mr. Leacock a round of applause for that beautiful, beautiful rendering. Thank you. We just wanted to do that kind of break up the monotony of just reading and talking. I hope you enjoyed it. We will now continue with our program. And I would be remiss if I did not do this right now. And that is the reading of a letter from our national president in Washington, D.C., Ms. Cleola Brown, whom have always been supportive of what we do here in Crescent City with regards to A. Philip Randolph. So I will read her letter. To the members of the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway Committee, to the community of Long Station, Crescent City, and to friends and guests who have gathered today for this historic dedication to honor the legacy of Asa Philip Randolph by renaming Highway 17 to A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway. Although I am not unable to attend today's ceremony, on behalf of the A. Philip Randolph National Board, our chapters, and our staff, my congratulations to all who spent countless numbers of hours, days, months, and years, as Mr. Pickens said, to fulfill this honor. My personal thanks to Sister Angel Duke and the county commissioners of Palatka, Florida, and Putnam County. But A. Philip Randolph is more than a road or a highway. Brother Randolph paved the way for modern civil rights, and it is so fitting that you honor him today during Black History Month. This highway is named after one of Crescent City's favorite sons and one of the most influential men in the American Civil Rights Movement. Many know of Brother Randolph's work with the 1963 March on Washington, where an estimated 250,000 people gathered in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. to march and rally for jobs and freedom. But Brother Randolph also fought for labor rights and negotiated with presidents like Franklin Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson for civil and for voting rights. He is credited with organizing the first Black labor union, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Cars Porters, and became the first Black vice president of the AFL-CIO. Did you guys know that? Amazing. It is our hope that all who travel the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway will reflect on this great citizen of Crescent City. Congratulations on a job well done, Cleola Brown, President, A. Philip Randolph Institute, Washington, D.C. We thank you, Ms. Brown, and we know that you are with us. Thank you. The program is being shuffled around a little bit, and I think I'll be remiss if we did not, I didn't realize he was in the audience, have a few words from the mayor of Palatka, Florida, Mayor Tara Hill. Could you come up, please?
Good morning, can you hear me? Good morning. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Today we stand here on the shoulders of giants, having an opportunity in February to really push forward the legacy of Carter G. Woodson and what was once Negro Achievement Week, now Black History Month, the commemoration of a time in which we truly celebrate the greatness of African American leaders throughout this country and the contributions that African Americans have made to the United States and to the world. In Palatka, we had the distinction of making sure that we recognize A. Philip Randolph. A few years ago, we dedicated 11th Street as A. Philip Randolph Avenue in Palatka. Last year, we were able to turn our train station into the A. Philip Randolph Intermodal Transportation Hub. We recently received that $8.1 million raise grant so that the A. Philip Randolph Transportation Hub will continually grow and expand. So those are the things that are going on in Palatka in commemoration of the legacy of A. Philip Randolph, a man who desegregated the railroads, who was instrumental in the desegregation of government contracts, who was the orchestrator of the March on Washington, who for years mentored leaders such as Martin Luther King. But more than anything else, he epitomized what it is to reach back and to bring others forward and stand up for what's right. So today, it's just an honor and a privilege on behalf of Commissioners Will Jones, Justin Campbell, Rufus Borum, and Tammy McCaskill that we stand before you in full support of the vision that Angel Duke has pushed forward in Crescent City, the support of the Putnam County Commission as a whole, to make sure that we never forget somebody who has paved the way for us and opened doors that we would not have had open had it not been for his insight, for his drive, for his perseverance, and for his love for humanity. And so I oftentimes tell people that Palatka and Putnam County is just like baseball. We'll never know how good it's going to be until we let everybody play. And so I tell you today that we stand here and we are excited about the commemoration of A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway. We're excited about the legacy that continues. There are more A. Philip Randolphs in this audience today. Our children behind us are going to be A. Philip Randolphs. But more than anything else, this community is going to stand unified. We're going to continually push forward the history and the legacies that have been suppressed. And we are going to look to God to drive us as we move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll move on with our program. As you notice, we've kind of shuffled it around a little bit to accommodate some of those whom we were not prepared to have on the program. But their voice was equally as important as those who are on the program, right? It's not where you are, it's what you say. And the words from Mayor Tara here resonates throughout this community, and we thank him. We're going to move forward in the program whereby we'll have a glimpse of a long station. And that is what this event is really all about. The renaming of Old Highway 17 in Long Station, a place where many of you grew up as I did, flirting with the boys who came to eat my mom's tea cakes on Sunday afternoon, and just enjoying that old country life. Well, Long Station is still there. But Long Station, I call it a place, not that Crescent City has forgotten, but it's a place where we need to renew our interest. And that is what the renaming of Old Highway 17 is all about. It will now be called A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway. And on the bottom of the sign, it says dedicated to the past and present of Long Station. So now those who have gone on and the generations are still there living, they can now feel proud to know that this highway was named after one of the most incredible and iconic men in the United States of America, and it's placed right there in their community. And I think as we traveled through, as our national president said, through Long Station, and I'm sure there's going to be many trips going through Old Highway 17 now to see the A. Philip Randolph Highway sign. So thank you very much for your attention to that, but I felt it was important that that aspect was segued into the program, okay? So now we'll have Pastor Harry Banks give a glimpse of Long Station, where he too grew up. Mr. Banks, Pastor Banks.
Well, I can talk loud anyway, but I want you to hear me about Long Station. And I'm one can tell you about Long Station. I'm very proud to be from Long Station, very proud. Well, I'm not going to tell you how many years that might follow me. But you can see I'm not a spring chicken. I want to go to the Bible very quickly and make a reference from a particular verse, and I'm going to paraphrase it. John 1:46. And it reads similar to this, but I'm going to paraphrase it now. Can any good thing come from Nazareth? Can any good thing come from Long Station? Yes. Here I am. All right. Thank you. From Long Station. I can remember, and I don't want to go back too far because somebody might recognize my age, but I'm proud of my age, but I don't broadcast it. Amen. Now, Long Station had one filling station. One. Anybody out there remember? All right, I got somebody to remember. Okay, the one gas station. At my time, they had one church. Do anybody remember? All right, Elizabeth. I'm proud, and so many older ones that have gone on to glory or wherever. We struggled and we fought. A whole lot of things in Putnam County we didn't have in Long Station. We didn't have a park to go play hoops with or on. So we picked an oak tree, which was close by the road, and we put a foot tub and cut the bottom out of it. And we bounced the ball on the highway. That's Long Station. That's Long Station. And what really got next to me, somebody moved the sign. What said Long Station? The sign is not there no more. Do I see my commissioner laughing? Okay. Well, I want to call the railroad. They moved it off the railroad. But before Long Station, there was a Long Branch. Many nights, I had to walk from Crescent City, go through Long Branch. During that time in my younger days, I was afraid. So I always ran when I got to the starting of Long Branch. Do anybody out here know where Long Branch was? Well, it's just before you got to Long Station. Amen. Amen. But I enjoyed being in Long Station. We had one juke joint. Do anybody know about that? Yes. All right. But we had a good time in Long Station. We were bound together like a family. Now, the starting of Long Station, it wasn't a whole lot of people in Long Station. I'm going to give you some of the families that started Long Station out. Then I'm going to leave it alone. The Freeman family. The Wesley family. The Tessie Robinson family. The Beasley family. But we enjoy, and we all, I'm going to tell you something else. The Ledbetter family. That's right, the Ledbetter family. I know that I was going to get in trouble when I do that. Amen. But we were close-knit together. What one kid did by the time he got home, and we didn't have the pleasure of cell phones and telephones. I don't know how they did it. I don't know whether they did it through smoke signals or how. But if I did something in Denver, before I got to Denver to Long Station, my parents knew about it. Now you tell me how did they know to do that? But they knew. I am proud to be a part of Long Station. One day, before I leave, I'm gonna buy a piece of land and put a park in Long Station. Commissioner, we want a park in Long Station. Please if they don't repave the road no more, put a park in Long Station for our young kids. That's it. I'm going to let it alone.
Thank you, Pastor Banks. Yes, I had to mention the Ledbetter family because he used to come up to my house and eat tea cakes with my brothers and play with these little phones that they made out of cans where you connect them together. Those were the days, right? Those were the days. So we're going to continue reflections on Long Station with Miss Veronica Glover, and then we'll have our Commissioner, Miss Lisa DeVito. Thank you.
Good morning. I know I have a big mouth, so I really don't need the mic, but it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today to witness this day. Now, what's interesting, the first time I ever heard of Dr. Randolph, I was a little girl, and my grandmother told me the story about him. And this was before anybody was ever talking about him. So the story is that him and my great-grandmother were friends. And my grandmother, who was a preacher's child, she was way off the grid from everybody else. So how many of you out there know about playing Cuba? My grandma was a big gambler. So she went and found him and asked him, she dreamed about him. And she asked him what was his age. And he told her the age, and she played the number, she won, and she bought 40 acres of land on the other end of town. And we're fortunate that we still own that property. But that was my story of Dr. Randolph. She would talk about him all the time and what he did. And so when people began to speak of him, it was exciting because I remember the stories that my grandmother told me about him. I never ever remember hearing anything about A. Philip Randolph as a child growing up in school. So I was asked to speak what this moment mean to me. This moment mean to me education. That now our children, and hopefully in Putnam County, we can dedicate a day in honor of his name, where every year we celebrate A. Philip Randolph. I know that this week they had the reading on Thursday. Unfortunately, I was unable to go and read to the children at the elementary school, but maybe we can have a book day where children read the story of A. Philip Randolph, because he is a native and one of our favorite sons. Earlier, the mayor shared about another favorite son that we will be laying to rest later on. But Dr. Philip Randolph was bold during his time. He didn't hold back, and his changes are the changes that we are able to witness today. I remember when I read the article and people began to talk about him again, and they never ever said at that time he was from Crescent City. I was very, very upset because I knew he was from Crescent City. And then later, after I guess people began to talk about it, we read that he was from Crescent City, Florida. That was an honor. That made me feel good because I love this place. And that means I shared the home of a famous person that was not a celebrity in Hollywood, but was someone that was on the battlefield fighting for change in this country to make life better for everybody. So it was an honor to see him being honored all over the country for his great contribution to this country. So I would like to thank you all for coming and being here today and sharing this awesome moment with us. And we do hope that people will come through Long Station and they will enjoy and they will understand when they witness and see that name while we did it. Now, what's interesting, we have a Randolph Street here, okay? So we get to honor him on both ends of town. So that is great, and people will know that he is from Crescent City, Florida. So thank you again for coming.
We now have a few words from one of our commissioners, Lisa DeVito.
Great. Thank you, Angel. Can y'all hear me? Great. It is, as everyone has said, truly an honor and a great pleasure to be here today in this company of dedicated and community-serving people. First and foremost, Angel Duke. Crescent City is a small town with a wonderful history. And it's a small town that, as you've heard in the stories about Long Station, was really the center of a number of very small rural communities. And one of the things that I find so beautiful about today is that we are remembering the values of the past. Those past times when Philip Randolph and those of us who are older came up were very different. Life was a little more simple. It was not always easy, especially for the African American community. That's why we're honoring Asa Philip Randolph today. But there were aspects of life in those times that gave people strength. They relied on their families, their churches, their communities, and Crescent City and the small towns around just have a strength and a foundation that I think they've given us for generations to come. And I'm very pleased that we are taking that history. We are recognizing it. I am so pleased that the historic community of Long Station will once again be really recognized and connected with Crescent City. It's just a little path right down South Main Street, make a right onto Pine Street or Orange Avenue, then Lemon Avenue or Orange Avenue, then make a left on Pine Street, and you're headed out to Old 17, which will be the Memorial Highway for A. Philip Randolph. Our past really informs our present, as you have heard today. What I take from the dedication and the achievements of A. Philip Randolph are that small communities are a good thing, that good things happen when you have a vision and a dedication, that you work with others. It is so meaningful to me that one of A. Philip Randolph's achievements was accomplished through organization and unions. As many of you here today know, you're very active in organizations or your city government. This is not easy. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of forgiveness to work with other people, but look what turns out. Look what turns out. So, and I just want to say, in reflecting today, I think that Angel Duke has a lot in common with A. Philip Randolph. We're going to hear 2 hymns from the Baptist Church across the street. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Usually at noon there are 2 hymns. But anyway, so in closing, this is a beautiful day of remembrance, of history, of the community coming together. And I just want to say also in Crescent City, we have an area historical society that covers from Dunn's Creek Bridge south to Seville, the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society. Angel Duke is a member. We have a new archives down at the old Miller Middle School. There are materials relating to A. Philip Randolph there as well. And I hope that this historical remembrance and these honors will encourage us to remember our larger history as a whole. So thank you all for being here.
Well, thank you, Ms. Lisa DeVito. She's like a sister. I've been knowing her and gotten close to her since I came back home 12 years ago. So I consider her as family. The long-awaited, everybody see the name on the menu, Senator Tony Hill. Well, we will have him grace our presence now because he has special guests that only he can introduce to us. So let's welcome Senator Tony Hill from Jacksonville, Florida.
Come on, let's give her hands up. Let's hands it up. Come on, let's give it up for Angel Duke. Come on, y'all can do better than that. I didn't say give it up for Tony Hill, but give it up for Angela Duke.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you so much. We came to celebrate. Hello. We came to celebrate. Thank you, thank you. Angel and I have been talking for about 4 or 5 years, and she said it's going to happen. I call her every year. I made it an annual event to call her, and she said this is going to happen. In fact, we were here about, I think in 2005. How many people seen the historic mark over at the Ame Church? That was our first journey back here to Crescent City. And so, Sister Glover, we're ready to take this next leap as you talk about making an annual day for A. Philip Randolph. On behalf of some 50 to 60 chapters that we have around the country. And then, of course, you heard Mrs. Duke bring a letter on behalf of our president, Cleola Brown, who happens to be a graduate of Florida A&M University by way of South Carolina. And so she could not be here due to illness, but she sent warm wishes. So I brought some special guests today. And the first one I want to introduce to y'all, he's probably the last living sleeping car porter. And he came with us today. I got him up early this morning. Usually get up around about 10 or 11 o'clock, but I want Brother Solid Mitchell to stand, 103 years old. Hello, somebody. 103 years old. He'll be turning 104 in June. Brother Solid Mitchell. Somebody behind me said, give him the mic. You might be here all day with the mic now. Brother Solid, we're going to honor him at church tomorrow, but of all the sleeping car porters, Call Me George, all the movies you've seen, that's one of them right here. Want you to get a picture with him. I want the young people to get a picture with him. I'm so glad to see the young people here today. So Brother Solly is here with us. He's a graduate of Florida Memorial University. He rode a bicycle from Jacksonville to St. Augustine. And he's here today. Brother Killen, the only argument we have is when we are driving, he's an Alpha and I'm an Omega. So he usually said that's the only two fraternities in the Bible, but I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna leave that alone, because we do have some brothers here. I want to also recognize the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma, which is Mr. Randolph's fraternity. They are here. Where's the president? They are here. Brother Farmer, where's Brother Farmer? Yeah, Brother Farmer's behind it. Come on up, Brother Farmer. I was talking with him last week at another event, and I told him, hey, I'm going to Crescent City. I said, ask me why I'm going to Crescent City. Yes, I said, I'm glad you asked. But he is here with us today, and I just wanted to recognize him. And Sister Duke said we can have a few moments on the program. But Sister Duke, let me throw this out to you, since Sister Glover mentioned it, that we want to make this an annual event. Y'all want to make this an annual event? Okay, well, we got the president of Phi Beta Sigma. We're going to go back and tell the brothers that we want to sponsor that every year. Now, I just throw that out there. Now, I ain't talking about nobody, y'all. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Brother Banks, I ain't talking about anybody, but Phi Beta Sigma will, I'm pretty sure, be glad to do that, because Mr. Randolph carried that along with John Lewis and other distinguished individuals, that fraternity all over the world. So I know they would love to do that. We might can even get the national president to come down. Now, Brother Farmer, I'm not putting you on the spot now, are you?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right, because I know you can handle it.
Of course.
Brother Kellen, can he handle it? Okay, that's another one of his fraternity brothers. Him and I serve as deacons at Macedonia Baptist Church, and so he wanted Brother Solid to come. I said, well, I want you to come with me to Crescent City. So they came to Crescent City today. So thank you again, Mr. President, for being here. Thank you. And then we also see the sister out here, Z5B in the house, so we're going to recognize you. And then, of course, you wanted to recognize my brother, cousin, nephew. I don't know, ain't too many hills, around. So when I became the senator over in Jacksonville, Palatka was one of the areas that I covered. And I remember Tara was telling me that powerful story, how he left Palatka, went to Howard University, Sister Duke, and got excited and went over to University of Florida and graduated from that law school. And guess what? He came right back home, y'all. Very seldom do we do that. We keep going on and moving on. But he came back, and now he's the mayor of Palatka. That's history in itself there. So thank you, Tara, for coming today. And I know you're going to be at that funeral for that great Gator football player today. And so also had another friend that I just met about 3 months ago, was involved in the civil rights struggle and still involved in the civil rights struggle. And he has moved to Green Cove Spring, y'all. He's in Green Cove Spring, so let's give him a southern welcome. He's by New Orleans by way of North Carolina, Pat Bryan. Pat is here today, still in the fight. And so again, it is, I'm just so deliciously excited because I understand Ms. Duke gonna feed us a little later, so I'm deliciously excited about that. And in fact, I'm standing with tip-toe anticipation on what she's gonna serve over there at the house. Some of y'all get that in the parking lot, it'll hit you. But let me close on this thought there. I thought I was just coming over for A. Philip Randolph, but guess what, y'all? I made a connection today. I didn't realize that Chairman Pickens' wife is the chair of the school board. So I just eased over to Coach. After Tara told me she was one of the outstanding coaches in this community, I reached over to her brother Kelly and told her I chair the African American History Task Force for the state. What about this, y'all? Y'all keep saying we want it in the schools. Let's go to the superintendent. Let's see, can we make Putnam County exemplary status of teaching African American history? Y'all heard what Tara said. History would not be itself had it not had African American history in it. And our kids need to know that. These young kids need to know that they're somebody. And the only way they can do that, Sister Dukes, you can't be what you can't see. Hello? You cannot be what you can't see. So if they see A. Philip Randolph in those books and they read about them, when they go on to these different universities that Mr. Randolph paved the way, along with Virgil Hawkins and the rest of them, then they know they could be somebody because they come from good stock. So again, in closing, James Baldwin, that great philosopher, once said that, Sister Duke, everything in life you might can't change, but you can't change anything till you face it. And so we want to thank Sister Duke for facing it, for carrying it on, doing as Brother Gill say, fighting it all the way to the end, and now we're here to see the fruits of her labor. And now, officially, we got the brothers from Sigma, we got the sisters here from Zeta. We want to sponsor A. Philip Randolph Day here in Crescent City. And guess what? Nobody can steal Mr. Randolph from us here if we start talking about it. Because on my way back to Jacksonville, I'm going through Green Cove Spring, and we're going to honor Augusta Savage today. So you got in Jacksonville, the Johnson brothers, y'all sung the song. In Green Cove Springs, you have Augusta Savage, and now right here in this county, we have A. Philip Randolph. So let's give it up. Thank you so very much for the opportunity to come and share.
A. Philip Randolph Day resonates in my ears because 3 years ago, we got the proclamation for A. Philip Randolph Day on June 19th. It was signed by, I think it was then a mayor, Tara Hill from Palatka, Mayor Jill Santa from Crescent City, Florida, and the chairman of the board of commissioners then was Pastor Carl Flagg. So we are officially established in A. Philip Randolph, and Senator, we look forward to your support of continuing the celebration of A. Philip Randolph Day. Just wanted to segue into that. So we have two other people that's been waiting patiently, and we're gonna break it up with a little gospel solo, and then we have the representative from UNESCO, because our president, she's gonna kill Miss Levette McGill, could not be with us today. So we have a representative from UNESCO, and Miss Dupree, who is president of the Atlantic Slave Trade Division of UNESCO. Her representative is here also. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. As long as I've been singing, I still get nervous. I don't know why. But we got to use the Lord in all these things we want to have. We can't leave him out. So I'm here to do a little solo. And I belongs to Union Bethel Ame Church. The A. Philip Randolph father preached there. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side, oh Lord, somewhere. Don't you rest until you find it. There's a bright side, oh Lord, somewhere. I am going in my secret closet. I'm gonna fall down on my knees, and I will talk to my Heavenly Father just as much as I please. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side, oh Lord, somewhere. Don't you rest until you find it. There's a bright side, oh Lord, somewhere. This is my verse. I will eat when I am hungry. I surely will drink when, oh Lord, I'm dry. One day, I'm gonna drink from that old heavenly fountain that will never, whoa, run dry. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side, oh Lord, somewhere. Don't you rest until you find it. There's a bright side somewhere.
I'd like to ask Mayor Michelle Myers and Commissioner Lisa DeVito to come up and join me. I'm going to ask y'all to do the unveiling when I get through reading the proclamation. As I said, this has been a journey, and a journey that Angel Dukes has really just been the persistent one to make sure this is going to happen. They say good things happen to those who wait, and we waited for this, and this is a really good thing that's happening here, and I am truly honored to be a part of this. I'm going to read the proclamation resolution that we adopted. This one we did on 10th day of August 2021, where we're going to adopt it as a community today. Putnam County Resolution 2021-63. A resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Putnam County, Florida, declaring an honorary designation of a county road, Old Highway 17, as the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway, providing direction to staff and providing immediate effective date. Whereas the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners and the residents of Putnam County desire to honor the memory of A. Philip Randolph, who dedicated his life and work to the cause of ending discrimination and injustice in workplaces and communities across the country. And whereas Putnam County Board of County Commissioners would like to recognize A. Philip Randolph's contribution to the civil rights movement and its impact to our community and country. And whereas pursuant to the authority of Section 336.005 Florida statutes, Putnam County wishes to commemorate and declare an honorary designation of County Road Old Highway 17 as the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway as perpetual symbol of our appreciation, admiration, and respect. Now therefore be it resolved by the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners as follows. The Board of County Commissioners of Putnam County, Florida hereby adopt the above recital and incorporates them herein as part of this resolution. County Road Old Highway 17 in Putnam County, Florida shall be honored, remembered, and memorialized by placing suitable markers designating County Road Old Highway 17 as the old highway nears the intersection of Junction Road and South Highway 17. The resolution is made in reference to the County Road Old Highway 17 between Junction Road and South Highway 17. Putnam County Administrative Staff is directed to direct honorary markers as described in the Section 2. Further, staff is directed to provide a copy of this resolution to the Secretary of the Florida Department of Transportation, the United States Postal Service, Putnam County's E-911 Coordinator, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. This resolution has become effective upon adoption by the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners, Putnam County, Florida. Duly passed and readopted for presentation by the Board of County Commissioners of Putnam County in its regular board meeting, August 10th, 2021. We're going to adopt this today, February 26, 2022. All in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Yay, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And because we are in the city, and the city commission really works hard in everything they do, I've asked Michelle and Lisa to do the unveiling if they would. So at this time, these signs were made by the Putnam County Sign Department. They do a lot of good work in the Public Works Department. This is just one example. So these signs, we'll unveil them right now.
Yes.
We ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Ready? Yep. Ready? Well, let's go. Here we go, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yay.
Okay, in honor of A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway, Crescent City's native son, 1889 to 1979, dedicated to the past and future residents of Long Station.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And it is done. We waited for this for so long, this moment. And we can't thank you enough, Commissioner, Chairman of the Commissioners, Mr. Pickens, and the rest of the team, that we just trolled along and never gave up. And I know I keep telling you this, but it would not have happened without you and the county commissions and your support on what we do down here in South Putnam, and we greatly appreciate it. And we thank you, Mayor Michelle and Commissioner DeVito for being a part of this. It means a lot. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, we will now have a representative from UNESCO. He's going to say a few words on behalf of Miss Sherry Dupree, who couldn't be here today because of illness in her family. So at the last minute, she called me. She was at the airport Thursday night en route to North Carolina to be with her brother.
Hello, my name is Galinda Grant, and I'm here for Ms. Dupree. We didn't have much to share as far as Ernesto, but we just wanted to say Mr. Randolph is celebrated today because of his works as a civil rights activist and a labor leader, but most of all because he's a native of Crescent City. What a befitting leader to celebrate during Black History Month. And what she did was she made some bookmarks for you, and we will be passing those out, okay? Thank you.
We will now have our keynote speaker, Ms. Velda McKinney, who is president of the Miami chapter of the A. Philip Randolph Institute. Ms. McKinney, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me, or do I have to use my teacher voice? Can everyone hear me? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to be here as the newly elected president of A. Philip Randolph Institute Miami-Dade chapter. Our president emeritus is Lavette McGill. We will be having our elections again in April, so I don't know whether I'll be there or not, but it's great to be here this time. As I journeyed up from Miami yesterday, I had no idea how far Crescent City was or Palaca was. I had never heard of those cities before, except with A. Philip Randolph, knowing that that was his birthplace in Crescent City. Funny story, my brother is military, and about 3 weeks ago, he gives me a call and says, guess where I am? I go, Miami, you coming to see your big sister? He goes, no, Palaca. I go, Palaca? That's where I'm gonna be in another week or so. And he has some friends here. And then I met one of my friends, a mother who's in a nursing facility. She called me last night to tell me that she just got out of the hospital. And I said, I'm sorry, Betty Boo, but I'm in Palaca. And all she could say was, I've been to Palaca before. I go, you have? She goes, back in the day. My Betty Boo is 84 years old. She says, I used to know a family here named the Tillman family. And I said, well, I don't know if I'll meet anybody from the Tillman family, but I'm in Palaca. And now I'm in Crescent City. And again, it's a pleasure to see so many wonderful people. And I met a nice gentleman, Mr. Newbold, who made me feel so welcome when I first got here. And Miss Angel Dukes, who I never knew who she was. We talked over the phone over and over. And then I finally got to meet this wonderful woman who, as I heard, was very persistent. And she was very persistent about getting me here too, because she kept calling, checking up, saying, are you still coming? And I said, when I make a commitment, I show up. But again, it's been a beautiful experience being here and talking to so many folks that I've met, ladies from Concerned Citizens, and just sharing. As we all know, A. Philip Randolph paved the way for us to be sitting here together just like this. I came from a town called Ocean City, Maryland, where back in the day, this reminds me of what it was like when my great-grandparents would tell me about segregation and how white people were on one side and black people were on another side. But in my hometown, my family made up the black community, so we were close, just like people in Crescent City and Palaca were. We were really able to work things out. And one of the great quotes from A. Philip Randolph I want to share with you is about community. As we all know, a community is democratic only when the humblest and weakest can enjoy the highest civil, economic, and social rights that the biggest and the most powerful possess. And as I look at the little ones that are here, and as a school teacher, when we talk about Black History Month, when I go out to the schools, the first question I might ask someone is that, do you know who Martin Luther King is? Like, I'll ask you all, do you all know who Martin Luther King is? Everybody would raise their hand. But when I speak and say, do you know who Asa Philip Randolph is? No hands go up. And my response is, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this man, because there would not be the March on Washington, or you may have never heard the great speech by Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, because he was invited to the March on Washington by Asa Philip Randolph. So, history is so important, and as an educator, as we move forward, we see how they're trying to deal with academic freedom and not wanting history to be taught. So I was so happy to hear Senator Hill and I think Ms. Veronica, who said that they want to get history being taught here in Putnam County and being taught across the state of Florida. It's very important that we really emphasize it and the importance of people like Asa Philip Randolph. It's important to know that you have someone in this community that you can look up to. And as I see the little ones, and I say to them that, you know, reflect on this. This is a historical day, because one day you may be speaking up here on an Asa Philip Randolph Day, talking about when you were little and you came to the unveiling of and dedication ceremony of the highway for this great man that lived right here in your city. As we move forward, I think it's important that we know that freedom is something that's so important to all of us, and we cannot allow people to turn back the hands of time. And as I see us here together, standing and working together, we know the importance of that. We also know that we, as human beings, have the responsibilities to make sure that we educate in whatever means we can our community on the importance of getting out to vote. And that's what A. Philip Randolph Institutes are all about. No, we do not endorse any particular candidate, but we do endorse the rights of people to vote and for people to get out and vote. I'm so honored to see a gentleman that was a porter, 103 years old. My mouth went, oh, wow, because I'm like a little kid, and it's just an honor to be around history. And as I heard from Mr. Newbold, who told me so much about the history of this town, Crescent City and Palaca, and the relationships that you all have here, and to see everyone gathered here for this special event is so just heartwarming. And when I saw Senator Hill, I didn't see him, I heard his voice, and I said, I know that voice anywhere. And I said, that's gotta be Senator Hill, and it was, because I know how hard he fought in the legislature for rights of everybody and for education and a staunch supporter of us. So as we move forward, don't let this be the end of a celebration, but the beginning of more celebrations, the beginning of us continuing to support one another, the beginning of us to make sure that those that are weaker than we are, that we lift them up. I know every time I hear the song, Good Morning Gorgeous, I think of all of the people that I'm surrounding, especially the young people in the school systems, the young women, even the men, because I'm saying men, you get up and say, good morning, handsome, because it's so important that our young people understand that we support them and that they are someone and that they are special. And if every morning they wake up and look in that mirror and say, good morning, gorgeous, or good morning, handsome, they're going to get a good day's start. And we have to remind them that they can be anything they want to be, because I'm a true testimony to that, because my mama was about 15 years old when she gave birth to me. I have 7 brothers and sisters. I had to take care of them. And the only way I had to get away from that was to get a job. So I started working when I was about 11 years old. That way I was able to help my family and help my brothers and sisters see that no matter where you come from, doesn't matter where you come from, what you have, it's where you end up and what you do with it. So it's so important that we give back, because as I grew up and I became able to get a good education, which is what my mother wanted all of us to have, I thought she hated me because she was so strict, but she didn't want me to be or end up pregnant and having kids like she had at an early age. But the important thing that I want to share with everyone is that we are somebody, we have always been somebody, and nobody can take that away from you. When you get an education, young people, that's something that you keep. And no one can ever take that from you. When I got my scholarships and didn't have to worry about paying any student loans, I remember that now it's my responsibility to give back. And that's why I appreciate being the president of A. Philip Randolph Institute because I know the work that we can do. I know what it felt like on Valentine's Day when I went out and we did baskets to women in shelter who thought that no one loved them on Valentine's Day. And they saw that there was this institute called A. Philip Randolph Institute. So the name A. Philip Randolph means so much to me, and the fact that I'm here standing on property that he may have walked across or been across, and know that there are people here. When I heard the story about the grandmother who played the number, reminded me of my great-grandparents and all that played numbers, as we were told the stories growing up on how you were able to take care of your families. But the most important thing, again, is that we have to stand together, stand tall, and stand for what's right. Because I always say, when you're right, wrong never wins. But as a people, we have to continue the legacy, continue understanding and believing in the values and the beliefs of Asa Philip Randolph. And again, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, the opportunity to venture out to another part of the state of Florida, to the homeland of A. Philip Randolph. And as I go out and when I speak to our young people, I will remind them that, tell your family to take a trip to Crescent City or Palaca and just see what's on the other side and see how people live and see history, because that's what it's all about. Our history, as we say sometimes, repeats itself. We don't want the bad history to repeat itself, so we want all good things to happen. And when we work together, I strongly believe that when we work together and we believe in what we do, and when we help and pave the way for these young people that are our future, that we can make a difference. And again, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I would like to present the letter that Ms. Dukes read to you in the frame.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Isn't this nice? This is the letter that I read.
That's the letter
earlier.
from our national president. So thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't mention one person and have him come up. They always say you save the best for last, but I save the best for last in different categories. And Ms. McKinley mentioned unity and family and community. One can think of no one other than my friend, Mr. John Newbold. When I came back home, I grew up here, traveled around the world with UNESCO and did all the other things, working with the communities. One of the first people that I met was Mr. John Newbold. And it seemed as though there was a kinship, because we shared the same interests in community, in unity, and in people, and in fairness. And it was such a pleasure to meet such a person when I returned, because when I left here at a particular time, it wasn't always that way. And to come back home after 20-some years to find that so much has changed, and to have a gentleman approach me to talk to me about that, it meant the world to me. So let's welcome Mr. John Newbold, a leader of the community. Everyone knows him. Someone I'm proud to call my friend, Mr. John Newbold. And after Mr. Newbold, we would like to close it out with our trumpeter giving us a serenade, beautiful serenading us, if that's possible. So we'll have Mr. Newbold, and then we have Mr. Hartley Leacock. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to change what I was going to say. Okay, I'm going to change what I was going to say. I was going to have words of wisdom that J. Philip Randolph might have given us, but can you hear me in the back? Okay. I want to talk about the Ame Church here in Crescent City. I was on a group to have that church, that physical building, restored. And my assignment was to go to the Savannah School of Design. And I did that. And I went to the lady that's in charge of restoring such buildings. And she said, we would love that challenge. But somehow it has fallen through the cracks and it's not on a momentum anymore. I challenge all of the government people and everyone here to get behind this and see that that building is restored. There's such a thing as a civil rights tour through the United States. And I'm sure it would go to St. Augustine, and it could come to the birthplace of J. Philip Randolph. We couldn't honor him any more than restoring the church in which his father preached and he was born. I'm not going to give you a lecture on what J. Philip Randolph would have said, but I just want to challenge us to get that building restored in his honor. All right, thank you.
Well, thank you all for coming. I certainly hope that you have enjoyed this as much as I have. I certainly hope that you will walk away feeling that there was a sense of accomplishment in all the speeches today, all the words that were spoken, and the deeds are yet to come. So we're going to close it out with a big thank you. Let's thank ourselves. Thank you for all the visitors who came from far and near. Thank you for your words of encouragement. And know that we will continue the legacy of Mr. Randolph from this day forward and beyond. And do visit once we have installed this beautiful sign, A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway, dedicated to the past and present residents of Long Station, which will now be on the map, because this is going to be video stream on YouTube by friends from the University of Florida. We thank you for coming. We thank those from UNESCO also who's making this possible. So this will continue to resonate beyond today. And as you drive through Crescent City, just bypass the new Highway 17 onto Junction Road, and you're going to travel around in one of the most beautiful tree-lined streets. That's going to place you right into Long Station. So we're going to have our trumpeter close this out with an upbeat rendering of something special that he has.
Well, let's see how upbeat I can be on this last rendering. It will be a song by Herb Alpert, Rise. So let us all rise.
with the spirit of what we've done today and what we have accomplished, it feels so good to just rise. I think the moment was captured. We appreciate everyone. Thank you again, Commissioner Bill Pickens, and for Ms. Holly Pickens for tagging along and being a part of this. Thank you so much for joining us. And if I missed anyone during the ceremony, we appreciate you. We really, really do. So thank you so very, very much. And we'll see you on A. Philip Randolph Day, June 18th, which segues right into June 19th with, what is June 19th? Thank you. And it is now recognized as a federal holiday. So this year, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And we certainly hope that you guys come back down to celebrate with us in this beautiful city. Thank you so very much, everyone. Appreciate you. Love and kisses. Thank you.